I am Arokya Mary, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of Mathematics, St. Joseph's College of Arts and Science, Autonomous, Kadalur 1. Here I am going to explain a topic on complex analysis 1. It comes under Unit 1 and this is continuation of Part 1, that is, it is Part 2. Further properties. If the product of two complex numbers Z1 into Z2 is 0, then at least one of the factors Z1 or Z2 is 0. As in real, we have this statement. We know that if x1 into x2 is 0, then either x1 or x2 is 0. Given now Z1 into Z2 is 0. If Z1 is non-zero, we have to prove either one of them is 0. Suppose Z1 is non-zero. If it is non-zero, then we can find the multiplicative inverse denoted by Z1 inverse that exists. Now we can write Z2 as Z2 equal to Z1 inverse into Z1, that is the product is 1 into Z2. Now associative law for multiplication is true, therefore we can write this as Z1 inverse into Z1 Z2. Now we are given Z1 Z2 is 0, therefore Z2 equal to Z1 inverse into 0. That is, we get Z2 as 0. We have taken Z1 non-zero, but we have arrived that Z2 is 0. Similarly, if you consider Z2 as non-zero, we will get Z1 as 0. Therefore, if the product is 0, then at least one of the factors should be 0. We can define subtraction as inverse of addition. That is, Z1 minus Z2 is nothing but Z1 plus minus Z2. If Z1 is x1, y1 and Z2 is x2, y2, then Z1 minus Z2 is x1, y1 plus minus x2 minus y2. That is, adding the real part, it is x1 minus x2, imaginary part is y1 minus y2. Similarly, we can express division as inverse of multiplication. If Z2 is non-zero, then Z1 divided by Z2 is defined as Z1 by Z2 is Z1 into Z2 inverse, that is 1 by Z2, that is Z2 inverse. If Z1 is x1, y1 and Z2 equal to x2, y2, then we can write Z1 divided by Z2, which is x1, y1 into 1 by Z2 or Z2 inverse. The definition of Z2 inverse is this. This we have seen in the last video. That is x2 divided by x2 square plus y2 square, minus y2 divided by x2 square plus y2 square. Now multiplying these two, multiplying the real part x1 x2, okay, then minus of imaginary part, minus of minus will be plus y1 y2 divided by x2 square plus y2 square, the imaginary part is obtained by multiplying real part into imaginary part. Therefore x2 y1 minus y2 x1 divided by x2 square plus y2 square. Now using this, we can write Z1 plus Z2 divided by Z3 as Z1 by Z3 plus Z2 by Z3. Consider Z1 plus Z2 divided by Z3. We can write it as Z1 plus Z2 into Z3 inverse. Now multiplying by distributive law, we can write this as Z1 Z3 inverse plus Z2 Z3 inverse. Now again rewriting this, Z1 into Z3 inverse is nothing but Z1 divided by Z3, and Z2 Z3 inverse is nothing but Z2 divided by Z3. For calculation, we don't use the inverse formula. That is, when we divide a complex number by another complex number, we multiply and divide by the conjugate of the denominator and work out. Example, 4 plus I divided by 2 minus 3i. We multiply and divide by conjugate of the denominator, that is conjugate of 2 minus 3i, which is 2 plus 3i. Therefore, it is 4 plus I divided by 2 minus 3i into 2 plus 3i divided by 2 plus 3i. Now multiplying the numerator, that is real part into real part, 4 into 2, 8, then minus 3, minus imaginary part is 1 into 3, 3, plus I into real part into imaginary part, which is 12, then plus 1 into 2, 2, divided by, it is of the form a minus b into a plus b, which is a square minus b square. A square is 2 square 4, minus b square is 9i square, but we know that I square is minus 1. Therefore, minus of minus 9, which is plus 9. That is 5 plus 14i divided by 13. Now splitting, it is 5 by 13 plus I into 14 by 13. To find the inverse of the product, that is to find Z1, Z2 whole inverse. We know that product of the complex number and its multiplicative inverse will be equal to multiplicative identity 1. Therefore, Z1 Z2 into Z1 Z2 whole inverse equal to 1. Now rearrange this, that is regrouping Z1 into Z2 Z1 inverse into Z2 inverse, because Z1 Z2 whole inverse is Z1 inverse Z2 inverse. Therefore, we can write it as Z2 Z1 inverse into this Z2 inverse. Again, we can write this as Z1 into, applying the commutative law, this is it, Z1 inverse into Z2 into Z2 inverse. Now again associating, we can write Z1 Z1 inverse into Z2 Z2 inverse. Z1 into Z2 inverse is 1, and similarly Z2 into Z2 inverse is 1. Therefore, 1 into 1, we get it as 1. Therefore, Z1 Z2 whole inverse equal to Z1 inverse into Z2 inverse. Binomial formula for complex numbers. If Z1 and Z2 are any two complex numbers, then Z1 plus Z2 whole power n equal to summation k equal to 0 to n, nck Z1 power k Z2 power n minus k, n varies from 1 to etc. We prove this by method of induction. Here nck, you know the value, nck is n factorial divided by k factorial into n minus k factorial. We prove it by method of induction, that is we prove the statement for n equal to 1, and then we assume the statement for n equal to m. Again we prove it for n equal to m plus 1. To prove the statement for n equal to 1, LHS is Z1 plus Z2 power 1, that is Z1 plus Z2. RHS is summation k varies from 0 to 1, 1 ck Z1 power k Z2 power 1 minus k. Okay, that is we have two terms. When k equal to 0, it is 1c0 Z1 power 0 Z2 power 1 minus 0, plus the second term is 1c1 Z1 power 1, Z2 power 1 minus 1. That is 1, NC0 is 1, therefore it is 1. Anything power 0 is 1, therefore Z1 power 0 is 1. Z2 power 1 we have, therefore it is Z2. And similarly here, NCN is 1, therefore it's 1. Z1 power 1 and Z2 power 0, the value is 1. Therefore we get Z2 plus Z1, or we can write it as Z1 plus Z2. That is LHS equal to RHS. That is, the given statement is true for n equal to 1. Assume that the statement is true for n equal to m. That is, we assume that Z1 plus Z2 power m equal to summation k varies from 0 to m, mck, Z1 power k, Z2 power m minus k. To prove the statement for n equal to m plus 1. Now consider Z1 plus Z2 power m plus 1, which is Z1 plus Z2 into Z1 plus Z2 whole power m. That is Z1 plus Z2 into, since this we have assumed, we are applying the binomial formula. Summation k varies from 0 to m, mck, Z1 power k into Z2 power m minus k. Now we multiply. That is, the first term is, when we multiply by Z1, we get Z1 power k plus 1 into Z2 power m minus k. The second term is multiplying by Z2, that is, you will get Z2 power m plus 1 minus k. We have m minus k, therefore m plus 1 minus k. We expand it. That is, the first term we have mc0, Z1 power 1, that is Z1, Z2 power m. Then plus mc1, Z1 square, Z2 power m minus 1, plus etc. The second expansion will be, that is, for this the last term is mcm. Okay, mcm is Z1 power m plus 1, Z2 power 0, the value is 1. Similarly, expanding the second expression, that is, we have mc0 Z2 power m plus 1 plus mc1 Z1 into Z2 power m plus etc. The last term is mcm Z1 power m into Z2. Now, that is mc0 into Z2 power m plus 1, then plus mc0 plus mc1. Okay, that is, we are grouping the coefficients of same terms. Z1 into Z2 power m. We have two terms. Here we have mc0 and the second one we have mc1. Therefore, mc0 plus mc1 is Z1 into Z2 power m, plus the next term would be mc1 plus mc2 is Z1 square is Z2 power m minus 1, plus etc. We have the last term mcm is Z1 power m. MCM is Z1 power m plus 1. Okay. We know that MC0 equal to m plus 1 C0 equal to 1. That is, for any n we know NC0 is 1. And similarly NCN is also 1. Therefore MCM is same as m plus 1 C m plus 1. We can rewrite it. And another one we know NCR minus 1 plus NCR equal to n plus 1 CR. Hence, Z1 plus Z2 power m plus 1 equal to m plus 1 C0. Instead of this MC0, we write m plus 1 C0 Z2 power m plus 1, then plus this is m plus 1 C1. M plus 1 C1 is Z1 is Z2 power m plus m plus 1 C2 is Z1 square is Z2 power m minus 1 plus etc. The last term is m plus 1 c m plus 1 z1 power m plus 1. Or we can put it as summation k varies from 0 to m plus 1 ck z1 power k into z2 power m plus 1 minus k. That is, the given statement is true for m plus 1. Therefore, by induction, the given statement is true for any n. The next section, vector and moduli. We can associate any complex number z equal to x plus iy with a vector from the origin, and the point z and the distance is given by that of radius vector. That is, modulus is radius vector, and this is argument of z. This is z, which is x comma y. Sum of two complex numbers. If z1 is x1 plus iy1, z2 is x2 plus iy2, are represented by two sides of a parallelogram. Okay, this is vector v. If they are represented as two sides of parallelogram, then the sum z1 plus z2 is represented by the diagonal by using vector, because the parallel side, this is also z1. When we add z2 plus z1, we get it as z1 plus z2. Subtraction of two complex numbers. Again, if z1 is x1 plus iy1, and if you represent z1 as diagonal and z2 as one side, then the adjacent side is z1 minus z2. Modulus of z is root of x minus 0 square plus y minus 0 square. X comma y is this, therefore x minus 0, origin is 0 comma 0 square plus y minus 0 whole square, which is x square, root of x square plus y square. Vector representation helps us to identify which number is closer to origin. That is, modulus of z1 less than z2 means z1 is closer to origin than z2. We will explain it by giving example. That is, z1 equal to minus 3 plus 2i and z2 is 1 plus 4i. Then modulus of z1 is equal to root of minus 3 square 9 plus 2 square 4, that is root 13. And modulus of z2 is root of 1 plus 16, that is root 17. From this we can conclude that z1 is closer to origin. That is, mod z1 is less than mod z2. Therefore, z1, which is minus 3 plus 2i, is closer to origin than 1 plus 4i. Now, the distance between 2 points z1, which is x1 comma y1, and z2, which is x2 comma y2, is modulus of z1 minus z2. Now, z1 minus z2 is a vector between z1 and z2. The length or the distance between z1 and z2 is the length of line segment from z1 to z2. We know that z1 minus z2 is x1 minus x2 comma y1 minus y2. Therefore, modulus of z1 minus z2 equal to square root of real part square x1 minus x2 whole square plus imaginary part square, which is y1 minus y2 whole square. Now, geometrically, the complex numbers satisfying this equation modulus of z minus z0 equal to r are points lying on the circle centered at z0 and radius r. Otherwise, we can say that modulus of z minus z0 equal to r represents a circle centered at z0 and radius r. Example 1. Modulus of z minus 1 plus 3i equal to 2. Rewriting this in the form modulus of z minus z0 equal to r, we can write this as z minus of 1 minus 3i equal to 2. Now, instead of z0 we have 1 minus 3i. Therefore, it is circle whose center is 1, minus 3 and radius is 2. Another example, z plus 1 minus 4i equal to 3. Rewriting in the form z minus of minus 1 plus 4i equal to 3. For here z naught is minus 1 plus 4i, that is minus 1, 4. Therefore, this represents a circle whose center is minus 1, 4 and radius is 3. Thank you.